Two. General Ramirez again.
So a lot changed. So we spent the entire summer literally planning and preparing for the fall. And despite the fact there were some that thought that we would not be able to have a Corps of Cadets because of the pandemic, our attitude going in was, don't tell us what we can't do, tell us what we can do.
Yep.
And so we focused on, okay, we've got a challenge here. How do we overcome this challenge? And I am surrounded by a phenomenal team of leaders, former military, education, you name it. I've got a wide variety of backgrounds that work on my staff and the ROTC staffs. And we all put our minds to figuring out how we were going to do this fall. And we've been able to have a Corps of Cadets. We put in procedures to try to mitigate and reduce the risk of the spread of COVID-19. We worked extremely hard with the School of Public Health, the University Health Center, the Health Science Center, the Residence Life. All these people helped us develop a plan to mitigate and reduce risk among the cadets so we could still have a Corps and maintain some sense of normalcy throughout the fall semester. And thankfully that has gone extremely well.
District Attorney Dusty Boyd again.
Trust does not come from a vacuum. You have to build
Pause it for a second. By the way, this is District Attorney Dusty Boyd talking about the MAPS program right after the George Floyd incident and all the protests happened. So that's the context in which Dusty's talking.
Trust does not come from a vacuum. You have to build that. So what you have to do is you have to design a governance that is transparent, that is accountable, and that can communicate, and not just communicate to its people, but also listen to its people and respond to their concerns.
Yep.
Don't just listen. And I know we're going to talk about this in a little bit with my program called MAPS that I started here in Gatesville. I'm tired of the talk. I'm 45 years old. I have heard about the impacts and the dynamics about racism, and for too long, the first response when you go any talking head, I don't care what station you're on, it's, well, we need to talk about this. No, we're done talking. Let's do something.
I don't have a video for this one, but this is Purple Heart recipient Nick Calt. Nick Calt was a United States Naval Academy graduate, became a Marine. During training, he got one hand blown completely off and lost part of his thumb, tips of his finger on his other hand, and then continued. Can you imagine trying to pass the Marine Corps PFT with one hand? Then he goes to Iraq and fights in the Battle of Fallujah and was shot with a 7.85 millimeter round through the gut. Comes back to the United States, long period of recovery. He served his country as a Marine. He's had one hand blown completely off, the other one badly damaged. Then he gets gut shot. And what does he decide to do after he gets out of the Marines? Become a firefighter in California. I mean, like the hardest possible job. And the firefighter jobs in California have rigorous physical standards too. And despite his physical incapacity, went through all of it no problem. And so, go ahead, yeah. I'm going to suggest to you that a good positive leader, principle number 2, is they are problem solvers with a bias for action. I've run a business for 20 years now here in Houston, a law firm. And we have a rule, Carlos works with me, he'll tell you this, that the people that work for me, I have about 15 people that work for me, are not allowed to bring me problems unless they have solutions. Okay? Anybody can tell you the problems. That is not hard at all. The reason you're wearing the uniform you're wearing, the reason the people that work for me, is not to tell me the problems. I mean, obviously you got to know what the problems are, but that's just half of it. The reason you have that uniform on is to solve problems. As a matter of fact, that is the most important thing I think a leader does, is solve problems.